If you're ready for fall vibes and you've been looking for some DIYs to create, you have come to the right place. Today I'm going to show you how to make 3 different Halloween decor DIYs that you can make either by yourself or with some friends. Crafting is a really great way to get into the holiday spirit, and there is nothing like making your own decor. Don't get me wrong, baby, I do love going shopping and picking out some fall decor, but I feel like the decor that lasts the longest is the stuff that has meaning and that I've made with my own hands. So I have some timestamps if you want to skip to any DIY, but the first one we're going to create, we're going to start off easy. I have seen these little macrame ghosts all over Pinterest. What I really love about these is that you can customize them any way you want. If you crochet, you can make flowers, you can add leaves, you can, I don't know, put blush on them, make them wear crowns. This one you could actually complete within an hour, so it's great for hosting DIY craft parties, which I'm actually going to do with this one as well. So let's get into the items that you're gonna need for this project. You will be needing some macrame rope. I would opt for the thicker rope. You can purchase this on Amazon, or if you're lucky, you can find it at the dollar store. You'll also be needing a hot glue gun, an X-Acto knife, cardboard or poster board, some scissors, a little bit of black felt, and blush is optional. So first you're gonna draw half a circle onto your cardboard. You can make this as large as you want depending on how big you want your ghost to be and how much rope you have. And you wanna just roughly lay out the rope. So depending on how long you want your ghost to be, make sure to cut those strands. We're actually gonna cut off the excess at the end and give it a little more shape. So I'm making them all just the same length, and they will be smaller the more inward you go. Now that you have everything roughly laid out, grab a hot glue gun and start lifting up from the center portion, working inwards out. Make sure to put down a generous heap of hot glue and place your rope back on top, making sure to squeeze it as tightly as you possibly can. This way everything fits nice and snug and you won't be able to see the cardboard paper behind the rope. Now just continue lifting the rope, placing the glue and placing the rope back on top of that, working all the way till you get to the end. If you have excess board on the end like I did, go ahead and cut that off with an X-Acto knife. Next, grab your felt. I'm using purple because I didn't have black, and cut out the eyes. I'm doing little oval shapes for the eyes, but you can get creative here depending on how you want your ghost to look. Then add hot glue and glue those eyes into place. I decided to add a little bit of a highlight, so I'm grabbing some white felt and placing some little circles to act as the highlight in the eye. And I gave her a fresh cut, making sure to angle it towards the center. Then I went ahead and started to unravel some of the bottom portion of the rope. This is optional as well. It's just depending on what style you want. And then for blush, I'm just using Patrick Ta and placing some blush on the little ghost cheeks. Now I knew I wanted my ghost to have some sort of flower crown, which is why I had the eyes a little bit lower, but I didn't have time to crochet it. So instead, I put on these super cute little butterfly clips that I had. They're hair clips and they just clip right on as a placeholder. So she has a butterfly flower crown, which I thought was really cute. To have it hang on the wall, it's super simple. I just added a command strip on the back, and there you have a super cute macrame ghost. I think she came out super cute, and I kind of want to make some smaller little ghosty friends for her. All in all, a very easy DIY, and it adds some really fun texture to the room. Next, we're going to create a DIY that actually went viral on TikTok because it was actually being sold at Michael's. And I kid you not, when I first saw this displayed in Michael's in, I think, June or July, I took a photo of it because I wanted to recreate it, because there was no way I was paying $60 for this texture art piece. It's so simple. It's so cute. I know texture art can be a little bit intimidating for some of you, but trust me, this is the easiest one for you to start with. Now, what you're gonna need for this project is a canvas, some joint compound, pellet knives, and some acrylic paint. Now, the fun part of this project is that you can customize it to however you like. So I wanted to create some pastel ghosties. This might be different. You might just want to do white, which is totally fine. You can just keep the background simple and black, and then just use the joint compound with some black acrylic paint for the eyes. I'm going a little bit extra here, okay? But I've seen so many people create different variations of this project, so I encourage you to get creative. So I wanted my piece to have some texture for the background, and so I went in with these tools to create little circles out of the joint compound. Now, if you are going to be doing a textured background, I would recommend letting this dry for 24 hours and then painting the black in the background before you start doing the ghost. Not like me. I got very excited and I was live streaming the process. So I did the ghost before painting the background, which was kind of a little pain in the butt to have to paint, but I digress. So for the actual ghosts, if you are just going to keep the ghosts white, which I think is super cute too, just use the joint compound. You don't need to add any acrylic color to it. Just put it directly onto the canvas. For me, since I was going a little extra, I went ahead and made some pastel colors, mixed the acrylic paint with my joint compound, and then placed that color directly onto the canvas. So when creating the ghosts, I found it was really easy to use a round edge palette knife. You could even go in with like a spoon if you have one, like a plastic disposable spoon if you don't have one of these. And you wanna work from top to bottom, which will be from back to front. So all the ghosts in the front will be on top of the background, if that makes sense. So yeah, just continue placing down your ghosts. So once you're satisfied with the placement of all of your ghosties, you're gonna have to wait another 24 hours for that joint compound to dry before you start painting on the ghost eyes. And I just used a black acrylic paint here to paint on the eyes. They don't all have to be perfect. I threw in one that had little heart eyes, which I thought was pretty cute. And then after you finish all the eyes, I went in and painted the background. Again, if you are doing this, make sure to do it before the ghost. But here is how the final texture art came out, and I think it is so cute. I was a little worried that the ghosts were gonna be a little too bright and come off a little too Eastery, but once the joint compound dried, they really lightened in color, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I have it displayed in my living room. It was so simple and easy to do. It's just a lot of waiting around for the joint compound to dry, but I promise you, it'll mean so much more that you made it rather than buying it. If you really wanted to frame it like how Michael's has the black frame, you can totally do that too. And if you really do love the piece and you aren't crafty, I'm actually selling prints of the one that I created available in my store. I will link that down below for you to go check out, along with all of my other texture art prints that I have available for you to decorate your house with. Now this last project is a little more tedious, and I would say it's a project that you take on throughout the entire month and just work on it while you're sitting, listening to a podcast, watching your favorite show, bundled up all cozy. It's just like a super cozy craft that you can do for this month. And this actually originated, I saw it on Pinterest, but I actually found the original artist on Instagram. Her handle is Thread-Handed Jill, and she makes these amazing hand embroidered spider webs. And she embellishes them with beads, so it looks like morning dew is on the spider web, and I just thought they were absolutely beautiful. If you don't have time to make something like this yourself, I would suggest supporting her as an artist because she does sell her work. But if you are crafty and you want to make something yourself, definitely give this one a go. I had a ton of fun making this one, and it felt like I was literally a spider weaving her web, and I just felt so much more appreciation for all the work the little spiders do every night weaving their webs. So what you're gonna need for this project is some black fabric. I had this black felt that I used for a Halloween costume last year, and I thought it was perfect, so we're gonna use that. You're also gonna need an embroidery ring, some metallic thread, some variation in beads, along with a needle that fits the size of the beads. Make sure that you get the right size, because I actually had to make another trip to the store to go get the right size. First, start off with placing your fabric inside of your embroidery ring and make sure it is super tight. Tighten it down, cut off any excess of the fabric, and grab your metallic thread and place it into your needle. Create a knot at the end of the thread and begin creating your web. So I started this one off with a heart in the center just because I love hearts and I thought it was just so cute. If it makes it easier for you to draw it out, I would recommend using a washable chalk on your fabric so you can follow that line, but I kind of just free-handed it. It's kind of hard to explain what I'm doing rather than just showing you what I'm doing. But I started off with the heart in the center, and once I was happy with that shape, I went out and created the web that goes outwards. These really can vary in length and closeness. I would recommend pulling up an image of an actual spider web to give you some inspiration on how it should look. And once you have those lines coming outwards from the heart, then we're ready to create our little webbing on the inside in between those lines. So I just kind of weaved whatever my little heart desired and was happy happy with it when it felt like it was done. Depending on how much time you want to spend on this, you can add so many more webs. You can add as little amount of webs if you don't have a lot of time. Now, once I was done creating the webs on the inside, a lot of them were straight. So normally these spider webs have like little droopiness to them, you know, because gravity. So I wanted this to come across in this as well. So what I ended up doing was I had to tack down the center of the line twice in order to make it swoop. And I'm going to show you how I did that because it's really hard to explain. So I placed my needle below where I wanted it to swoop down. And when I was placing the needle through the backside, I kind of looped it around and grabbed the thread. So it pulled it down to where I wanted it to go. And then I tacked that down in place. I would recommend doing this twice so that you get a nice even swoop, depending on the length of the webbing. If it's a really short one, you could definitely get away with doing it once. But I know this is something that seems a little bit tedious to do, but I did the entire webbing so that it all droops and swoops and looks a little more natural. Now, once I was happy with how the web looked, it was time to add on the beads or the little water droplets. Now, this step was a little more tedious than the last step because the size beads that I got were very small, making my needle very small. And so my thread did not fit through the edge of the needle. So I had to separate my thread. It was like spun up in threes. It was very tedious. So I would recommend getting a size bead that fits the actual thread so you don't have to like unravel it. And it's just a big headache, especially with metallic thread because it kind of like breaks apart. Learn from my mistakes, get a bigger bead. And then you kind of treat the beads similarly to how you tack down the spider web. I also found that you can place the beads where you did tack it down so it covers it up a little bit so you can't see that extra thread on the web, if that makes sense. Now, once everything was done and I was happy with it, I took it off the embroidery ring and placed it inside of my frame. I would opt for a more elaborate, like cool looking frame. This was the only one that I had, so I'm definitely gonna be thrifting a frame to put it in that's, you know, more like Victorian or just has some uniqueness to it, not wood. We're going for gothic, okay? My thrift store was slim pickings, so for the purpose of this video, I wanted to put in a frame to show you how it looks, but I will be switching this out. But here's how it came out. I think it came out so cute. Now, this was my first attempt, and I think if I were to do anything differently, it would be to double up the thread while making the web so that it's more visible, because for the felt, it kind of sunk into the fabric, so it's not as punchy as I would like it to be. I also realized midway that I swooped some of the webbing the wrong direction. I was supposed to swoop them down when I swooped them up. No one's really gonna notice it. You won't be able to unsee it now that I mentioned it. But this was such a relaxing project to do, and I really urge you to do it just throughout the month. Don't give yourself a deadline. I kind of had to rush through it because of this video because I wanted to share it with you all, but I will definitely be starting another one and buying my frame first, knowing what it's gonna look like and go into. I think I'll add more beads too, more water droplets. But those are the 3 really easy, beautiful DIY Halloween decor projects that you can do this year and that I urge you to do because it's so fun to make your own rather than just, you know, buying everything at the store. And then you have something interesting to tell your friends when they come over and see your decor. You just, you know, I made it. I made it. Anyways, if you want to see some more Halloween DIYs, make sure to check out this video right here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.